I think you're going to see like probably at least $5 billion plus FDVs on Perp DEXs. Yeah, it depends where the market goes, of course. But I think that there's if you think about that market structure of CeFi versus DeFi at the moment, SEX versus DEX, right? Like, you think how much headroom there is for a couple more big players to pop up. Like, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on that as an opportunity.
I just wanted to let you know, jail's not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even life advice.
What's up, Simon? I'm good, bro. How are you today, man?
Yeah, I'm good. So we're live already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not, like, for a guy that's trading tech, I'm not very good with these things. Like, I keep fucking up with setting this up.
Yeah, as long as you're better at trading than, I don't know.
Sadly, lately, no.
Yeah, you and everyone else, but there's a small group of people that make a lot of money, and the rest of us just lose money.
Actually, like for running your Perp DEX, did you find a few guys that it's just like, wow, like did you end up like seeing some, like, are they hacking the system or are they actually good? Like, do you actually come across these kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely come across people that are good. There's a proportion of people that just like genuinely know how to trade. They've got like good strategies, and then everybody else is kind of like, I don't know, long in gold because they saw it on their Twitter feed, and like the FOMO is kicking in.
Bro, Mo, like fuck, man. I don't even know why gold has to go this high right before fucking Chinese New Year. It's like, I'm gonna go to fucking my Chinese New Year reunion, and everyone's gonna be like, why you don't buy gold? Like, fuck! I'm just gonna have it so rough this year. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's the meme of like, all you had to do is buy and hold. It's just that we've been buying and holding the wrong asset.
Fuck me. But yeah. All right, man. Let's get right into it.
So I'm Simon. I'm CEO of Reya Labs. This is my fourth startup. It's kind of crazy. So all of those have been financial technology. First two are Web 2. One unsuccessful, learned a ton, but one a lot more successful. We sold that to one of the banks. And then the last two have both been Web 3. So one was a DeFi summer project called Vaults, world's first interest rate swap DEX, grew to actually the third biggest DEX in 2022. So there's Uniswap, DYDX, and Vault. And then, this is kind of my latest and also my greatest project. So I'm kind of excited to talk about Reya.
Yeah, but before we go deeper in this, I was going to ask you about Reya, but like now that okay, do you think it's going to be a Nix lighter?
Reya?
Yeah. No. Is there going to be a Nix lighter?
Is there going to be a next lighter?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Is there going to be a next Hyperliquid? Is probably a better question, but like, just
that's what I'm saying, right? Like the next Hyperliquid was lighter, and then lighter was not as good as Hyperliquid. So that's why I feel like if there's a Nix lighter, it's going to be even lower.
Yeah,
and it's hard.
It is, but I think there's short term and long term, right? Like, so in the short term, I think the DEX space is just going to end up with a market structure very similar to CeFi. So you're going to have a couple of very big players. You're going to have a handful of like medium-sized players, and then you're going to have a long tail. And if you think of Hyperliquids maybe is the big player, it's sort of the Binance. So we're in the OKX Bybit kind of stage at the moment, and I think there's going to be multiple in that bracket, and then there's going to be the long tail. That's the short-term view, and I'm talking about short-term being like next couple of years. The long-term view, though, is just insanely bullish, right? Like, so if you think about what does the world look like 10 years from now, right? We are clearly going from like a world where people have digital money to a world where people have tokenized money. And in a world where every asset is tokenized, that those assets have to be traded on infrastructure that can support tokenized assets. They have to be traded on DEXs. They can't be traded on SEXs. They can't be traded on TradFi venues. So that long-term view is insanely, like I was saying, it's insanely bullish. We're talking about complete disintermediation of every exchange that exists in TradFi. New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, ICE, CME. Like these guys have either got to learn how to build this stuff to support tokenized assets, which they will try and do. Of course, they'll try and do it. This can be very slow. Or you're going to end up with all of these assets tradable on these kind of decentralized venues that anybody in the world can actually just connect to instantly. And like what we're talking about at that point is you're talking about this 1,000 trillion of notional per annum traded in traditional finance moving across to these decentralized venues. And for me, like I just think that that's frankly it's inevitable. And what does that look like, right? Like that's not the next Hyperliquid. There's something way bigger, and all of us in the space are kind of pushing to make that happen.
I agree. It's just interesting to see that like from okay, so I'm a true DeFi lover, but I'm also a realistic guy.
Yeah.
I can see how centralized exchange can take over that pie bigger, just because like you see the volume, like the gold volume of Bybit and all the stocks coming on Binance is actually a lot stronger than
Because they've got the
on-chain right now.
users. Because
They got the users, they got the enough incentives, and then I mean like I'm only using like some DeFi fake decentralized credit card because the 3% cashback as well.
Yeah. But I think it's how it evolves, right? Like, and Binance, these guys have been around for 10 years longer. So they're inevitably going to have more users, more resources, and like, they're not just going to sit there and like watch their business disappear to decentralized venues, right? Like, so they're going to fight like mad. And we've already seen that. I mean, the Jelly saga, right? Like just all of this stuff. So they're going to fight like mad. But like, I think the one thing that a DEX has, it's kind of interesting actually that, this is something we're going to lean heavily into, but the only team that's done this so far is Hyperliquid successfully. What a DEX has that a C5 venue does not have is it has composability. And what you see that looking like with Hyperliquid is the builder codes, and they've effectively outsourced acquisition of users to other teams, right? And all of those teams are innovating, and so they've therefore also outsourced innovation on the front end to many other people. And I think over the long run that wins. Like that's my opinion. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Binance is just like unbelievably well resourced. So they've got enough capital to build like 1,000 versions of, kind of trade XYZ or whatever, like new front end pops up on Hyperliquid. But I think over the long run that does win. And that's how in my mind, X beats the sex, right?
I'm gonna circle back on this on white label centralized exchange and builder code comparison.
Yeah,
but let's not kill the whole conversation for the listeners for now. So do you want to explain what Reya is? Is it Raya or Reya? Reya. Reya. Can you explain Reya?
Reya is a dating app, right? Like so.
Maybe that's better. Maybe more crypto bros need this.
Yeah. There's no Sydney Sweeney on Reya, unfortunately. Just on Reya. But no. So Reya. I mean, look, Reya's a perp and spot DEX. We've got a very unique architecture, and I know no one cares about the tech, right? So rather than explaining the tech, I'll explain the user value. The value of the architecture is that we can be about 100 times faster than Hyperliquids from a trading execution perspective. And actually, we can scale that to TradFi level speed. So we can actually get down to nanoseconds in terms of trading execution. What that means is it means we're attracted to high frequency traders, right? So these guys do around 40 to 60% of all the volume in TradFi on a given day. We actually can get to a place where we're attractive to those guys so that they can come in and actually start trading on a decentralized venue. What does that mean? It means more volume, it means more liquidity, it means better trading conditions for everyone on the exchange. I think the other two things that it unlocks is it creates a more reliable venue, which I think is extremely important. You think about what happened on 10th of 10th. We were one of the only venues, decentralized venues that didn't go down, which just for traders is super important. And then the other big piece, which we can talk about, is the architecture itself. What it does is it effectively enshrines a Perp DEX into the Ethereum L1. And what that unlocks over the long run is atomic composability with Ethereum L1 DeFi. And when we're talking about how does a DEX beat a CeFi exchange over the long run, like I said, composability is the key thing. And we can talk about that a bit more. The thing that is worth saying is the architecture that I'm talking about at the moment, where we get to this based roll-up design on Ethereum, which unlocks the speed, unlocks reliability, unlocks composability. There's something which we're building into right now. And what the product is as of today uses a forked version of Arbitrum Orbit with an AMM on top of it. And there's effectively this very big infrastructure upgrade taking place in the background for users, where we're moving from the existing infrastructure, Arbitrum plus AMM, to this based roll-up design, which will have this kind of low latency clob. And as that's being rolled out, I mean, both the app and the trading experience are being like very, very significantly upgraded. So even on the app now that you're sharing, you can see we have started upgrading the interface to the kind of new product, which is why you've got this clash of styles, which looks a bit hideous. Give it another couple of weeks, and the whole thing is going to be kind of updated.
I like how honest you are.
Yeah, I mean, it looks idiot. If you press the market drop down, look at the styled contrast versus, yeah, I mean, it's just completely different. But it's because we're just upgrading component by component.
All right. So from a user point of view, right now, like everything looks relatively similar to me. I can see the composability, the speed, everything that fits during the time. But like,
yeah,
there's perks everywhere. We have like GRVT, we have Pacifica, Osium, Habichi. What do you think about them, or what's your strategy to be special or your edge?
So this again, I think there's short term and long term, right? Like, so long term, the architecture unlocks all the things we talked about: speed, reliability, composability, right? And these are things that actually people cannot replicate. They're like a deliberate long term investment to have long term differentiation. In the shorter term, like we compete on like just all sorts of dimensions all the time. One of them is markets, and the big difference with Reya is it's a perp and spot DEX. So we've got 70 perp markets. We launched the first spot market last week, which was ETH, and actually about to see BTC pretty soon, and then you'll start seeing a kind of a tail of more assets coming out. But it becomes more differentiated due to a feature on the margining side called Universal Margin Account. So not only can you trade ETH and soon BTC spot markets from your perp margin account, you can actually hold those assets as margin too. And that allows you to do very simple things like basis trade. But where it becomes more interesting is actually when we start adding tokenized stocks, right? And you have like RWA perp markets. You can actually hold tokenized Nvidia and do the basis trade on a Nvidia perp. Like these types of things actually start to become very interesting, where you can actually hold like a long list of different like margin assets to trade pretty much every kind of like market, both in TradFi and crypto that you can think about.
For the listeners, let me just expand this a little bit. Like when he say basis trades or why cross margin matters, right? Cross margin matters in a few things. First, capital efficiency. Like I don't want to sell my ETH, but I need some stable coin to trade. ETH is going up, whatever. That's why I want to hold whatever asset together. Let's say I want to hold ETH and BTC, but I only have like one ETH, but I want to hold one ETH of BTC and some Bitcoin. Instead of putting my ETH there, borrow some money from Aave, put it back to a perk, and then do a leverage. Leverage. What I can do is I can do a BTC, I can do an ETH as collateral, hold my delta, my exposure towards ETH, and then use that to long BTC as a collateral. So that gives you capital efficiency in a directional trade. Secondly, basis trade is like, hey, let's say ETH funding rate is right now it's around 10%, but you're holding ETH, but you don't actually want to hold ETH. But then you realize that you can hold ETH and then you can earn funding rates via shorting because the funding rate is positive right now. But you don't actually want to hold ETH, or you have some ETH that you don't mind losing the exposure for a period of time. So you can put ETH there and short maybe 1x or 2x depending on your strategy. For 1x, it'll be easy for people like me that doesn't want to manage my farming position that regularly, because that means like if ETH my collateral will be always the same delta as my ETH, so I would be wrong. Or I just say, as long as the thing doesn't shift more than 50%, I'm good, right? So that's why I can do a 2x short kind of thing. Basically that's like the basis trade. And when he was talking about stocks, etc., I'm guessing that's for pair trade purpose or to trade some beta purpose, like, or am I missing something there?
Well, so I think tokenized stocks are going to come to Reya like in the not too distant future. So when we're talking about having perp and spot available on the same venue, like you can think of ETH BTC spot assets, but you can actually also think of tokenized stocks as assets that you might want to purchase. So you might want just to hold spot exposure to Nvidia. And whether you go to actually buy that, well, you're going to be able to do that on Reya. Now you've got a world where you've got a basket of different assets, ETH, BTC, maybe some Nvidia, maybe, I don't know, like some Tesla, whatever, right? And you want to trade, well, you don't have to sell any of those assets to trade because you can actually just use them as margin, right? And that's one of the big unlocks.
Okay. Yeah. Again, expanding a little bit more for the listeners. There's a typical, correct me by the way, Simon, there's a few features for, let's say, retail traders in terms of different perk DEXs, right? First is the variety of assets you can trade. Secondly is the liquidity, meaning can I just spam buy market by 100 BTC without slippage? Slippage meaning like some price loss because as I'm buying it, I'm clearing the order book, so I'm getting a worse price than I expect to be. Transactional fee, speed, is there scam wake? Scam wake are typically a result of a not very good liquidity, so it suddenly just pops up or down a little bit just to liquidate you. And cross margin is a little bit like the holy grail, or features that haven't been very popularized yet. From my understanding, is that this is because of the liquidation flow. Let's say if I want to do, let's say, because technically you need to have a pair of each, right, in order to liquidate. So normally every collateral is in USDC. That means like if you get liquidate, they just have to sell your whatever or use your USDC to buy whatever. And the liquidity on the pairs are sufficient enough to not cause any bad debt or any problem. But if you're starting using some weird asset, let's say some wrap Chinese BTC stuff, that means they have to sell the spot wrap BTC into BTC or USDC, then you use the USDC to repay the loan or whatever is that, which might cause some sort of a bad debt in some asset. And that's why cross margin is not something, or universal margin is not something that's very popular. I just want to hear like how are you handling the situation?
Yeah, not popular. Well, I mean, so just there's a lot of math, and then you need a very good like engineering and risk team, which we're very fortunate to have. But there's universal cross margining is a lot more popular on the CeFi exchanges. It just hasn't come to the DEXs yet. It's starting to come. Like I think Hyperliquid actually trying to push it out. I think Live trying to push it out. We actually already have it live, and maybe just to expand. So yeah, so if you're just trading. Let's just make it simple. You're trading ETH and BTC perps in a world without cross margining. You collateralize those trades with USDC, right? If you start accruing losses, you need to be liquidated. It's very easy, like you were saying. You just liquidate it. You got the USDC, right? And the underlying contracts settle in USDC. So you've got the kind of asset that is required in order to settle the contract. If you then start trading ETH and BTC, but you've got ETH as a margin asset. There's actually two things that can happen. First of all, if you're long BTC starts dropping, what's actually also going to happen is it's highly likely that the value of the ETH is also dropping in your margin account. So you've got like a situation where you're losing money on the perp leg, but also your margin account is actually shrinking in balance. And you basically got to be able to offload that ETH very quickly, convert it into USDC, and then liquidate the account. And that requires very smart, sophisticated math and risk management. And like I said, we're very fortunate. We've got a good team. Like our head of quant is like an MIT PhD kind of guy. So he knows what he's doing. And then you need an ecosystem of liquidators and auto exchanges, which we've got set up as well.
Sorry, when you were doing that, you even know what I was gonna whip out. So like I would say your biggest edge right now is long-term vision in towards a more composable and more DeFi ready stack for Perp DEXs, correct?
Probably, yes.
Okay, let's place the devil's advocate. Like, what other Perp DEX you think are doing the right thing? If you were to give it like a one or two liner of what they're doing.
Well, like just at the moment, Hyperliquid.
Sure.
No doubt about that. I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to say anything controversial because the market kind of like reflects this view, right? Like, so
pre-token ones. Let's say pre-token ones.
The pre-token one. I get the impression the extended team is quite a good team.
In what sense?
So they have built a pretty good like product and a very product focused, good order book, and started to innovate on the margin side. So I think I get the impression they're quite good. They I mean, whether they copied it or not, but they launched a feature that's very similar to us, where you can you deposit into the people. Sorry, I'm chilling rare, but you can.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, sure. So we've got this feature. I'll explain it, where you can deposit into the LP pool, and we tokenize that. You can hold that as margin in your account to trade. And they also launched a version of that pretty quickly, which I think is pretty smart.
Shoot the shit, bro. Shoot the shit. I like that. Okay.
Who do you think? What do you think?
Okay. Like I'm gonna shoot with no filters. Okay. GRVT, interesting because they do the Korean local market very well. I'm not like the biggest, like, I think they do the boring things very well. So I think it's what is needed to grind a perk desk. Because if you think about it, essentially this is what they do. They're listing tokens like River, like those like very retail focused coin. But in saying that, they might not be doing big enough picture things. That's my take.
Yeah.
Pacifica, everything did relatively well, but I feel like it's another lighter in some direction, if that makes sense. Like it does everything well, go to marketing very well, narrative very well, self-funded, blah blah blah. But like again, like if I were to talk about it, I don't know what to talk to. Do I tell her tall and handsome? I don't know. Like there's no one liner for it for me. I'm friends with them, so like they're gonna hate me for saying this. Habichi, I don't know. Like the only good thing about them is the rumor that they're gonna be on certain chain and for certain things, and that's the only rumor that I used. And then a few of my farmer friends got discredit, like after trying to aggressively farm them. So I was like, okay, they actually care about the token. What else? What are the other ones? Variational is something I like, just because the large variety of tokens, high leverage, good enough liquidity, I can short anything. Like that's and NATO. Actually, myself right now, I'm using NATO and Variational. But NATO, it's like a very normal perk dex. The only reason why I like it is because it's going to be tokenless and it's going to be on Kraken chain. I mean, again, like product innovation doesn't matter that much for me right now because it's not at a turning point for me yet.
Yeah. There's I mean, look, there you go. This year, and what about extended then? Since we're asking questions on, or you asked me a question.
I tried them in very early on for a little bit, and then I just low key forgot about them.
Yeah,
and also like I like looking at teams that are cross regional, because like if you're too white and I don't see any Chinese people talking about you, it's unlikely that you get a good flow for token speculation or the using flow. So like so my one of my weird categories in seeing all the projects is that it has to cross path like
in Asia,
like English plus Korea, English plus Chinese, English plus Vietnam. Like if it doesn't cross path by two things, then it's not going to make it.
There you go. So there's Reya I'm English, but like all of our users are in China, Korea, Japan. Like this where like
I thought you were going to say all my quants are Chinese. Okay. Okay. I want to drill a little bit down in terms of like trading signals. Before going that, let's before going to this, do you have a prediction, a bold prediction for the Perp DEX sector in 2026?
I think you're going to see like probably at least 5 more $1 billion plus FDVs on Perp DEXs. Yeah, it depends where the market goes, of course. But I think that there's, if you think about that market structure of CFI versus DeFi at the moment, SEX versus DEX, right? Like, you think how much headroom there is for a couple more big players to pop up. Like, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on that as an opportunity.
Okay.
You don't agree?
No. I never thought of it this way, because like I'm just a speculator, right? As you were saying, I was just thinking that good statement, but a centralized exchange has a lot more money and resources put into getting retail flow, which is something no Perp DEX is doing right now, in my opinion.
Not to the same degree, but yeah, we definitely are. We definitely are doing it, right? It's with just the fight's on, right? Like, it's just
the fight's
That's the way that I view it. There's a big battle going on. Like, just all of these assets ultimately live on chain, and if you can be embedded into that, which is obviously what we're trying to do, particularly by being enshrined into Ethereum. You think about Wall Street. I know that you kind of don't care about this, but like, Wall Street
I do.
Wall Street adopting Ethereum as like the kind of chain for capital markets. If you can embed an exchange into that, which is what we've done or are doing, right? Like, then, and become atomically composable with that, what that unlocks versus what a CFI exchange is actually able to do is just completely different. Now, is that going to happen in 2026, or is it going to happen over the next like 3 years? Yeah, I mean, that's the debate.
I agree with you, because how much do you think the compliance level plays in here, actually?
Compliance. I think a large part of that depends on what happens in the US, frankly. So there's this market structure bill which is going to come out. If you want my personal view, I think permissionless open infrastructure will continue to win, just because you're opening up innovation and access to literally everybody. And we see this with Hyperliquid already. I think the same thing is going to happen with what we're doing Reya. That's like what we want to ultimately happen. But yeah, I mean, like, certainly if the US market structure bill comes out and it's very onerous and all this type of shit, then yeah, I mean, you're probably going to see more like KYC DEXs, which I don't know if that's a good thing, or like, my personal view is it's not, right? But I think that you probably will end up seeing that.
Yeah, I'm at a point where I've accepted the anon plan has. The anon part will always be there, but it's only going to be like 20%, and we should be bullish. The non-anon part will come on, they'll grow the pie, and then the anon part will still be 20%. That's my hope.
Yeah, I think the innovation will happen a lot faster in the permissionless world, and then it'll start getting taken across into some sort of permissioned world.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at DeFi right now, right, all the big lending, all the big real assets, they have to go this way. Like, all the weirdo money that is gonna come in is already in. Like, we are done. We can't get more money in, basically.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's certainly there has to be a next catalyst, right? And I think that is gonna be, like, you look at the amount of capital in traditional finance versus the amount that's on chain at the moment. It's just dwarfed. And if we can get all of that coming in, then yeah, I mean, the whole space is going to kind of increase in size massively.
I hope some bank it's going to default on the gold somehow, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh fuck, Bitcoin is actually better." But this is like pure hope. All right, let's talk about like Perp's metrics that reflects market view. Do you have any thoughts on how, like, let's say funding rate, OI, ticker flow, all those things would indicate or give people a signal to trade
on a new asset, or just? I mean, like, the thing is, it's these metrics sort of. If you're looking at those metrics, you're at risk of already being too late, right? Like, so if the funding rate is massively negative, that means that there's already lots of people shorting it. So you could join in, of course, like, but it's a signal that the market thinks the price is going to go down, or at least on a given venue, right? Like, and it can vary a lot across venues. Obviously the opposite of that is also true. If the funding rate is positive, then people think the price is going to go up on that venue. And the other thing I would always look at is open interest, right? Like particularly for a new coin, right? Like so, if a new coin's coming out and it's not got much open interest on the perp side, then it kind of is a signal that there's not much interest in it as an asset, and that is probably in some way going to be reflected in the price performance. Now, it's not like an easy way of drawing a prediction from one to the other, but it's if there is low open interest on a new asset, and it's
Lower what,
been
sorry?
low open interest. So if you look at
Yes.
the perp market, so if Binance launched, I don't know, like new coin perp and new coin spot at the same time, and the open interest on the perp doesn't build up much, then it kind of is a signal there's not many people that are interested in trading the asset, which you can use as information, right? But look, I'm not. If I knew how to do this, then it's what I would do. I'm not the trader. I'm the builder.
I see. Okay, all right. For the listener's sake, maybe I can share a little bit my personal view on different things, right? So, funding rate is calculated through two things, right? It's the difference between the actual price and the synthetic price on a perk. So, the more difference there is, the bigger the funding rate will be on the opposite directions. In that sense, means if the spot price is 1, the per price is 1.5, then the funding rate will be extremely positive, meaning that it will cost you a lot more to long it. Typically, this is a bullish or it's a weird thing that people are doing to do some weird marketing. Either you want to long it because you think it's very bullish, or you need to be very careful that some market participant is doing crime on the coin, typically on a low flow or very high supply control coin. For me, when I'm trading an asset, right, like Simon said, everything is priced in. Like all metrics are priced in. It just reflects on a view in the market. Whether you have a counter view of it, it's what it matters, right? What's going to happen after? It's what matters. But typically for me, it needs to have enough open interest, meaning that a lot of people are looking at it. So for me, it's like if it's a rising open interest, rising price, meaning a lot of interest and it's genuinely bullish. Rising OI, falling price means it's a lot of interest, but people are overly short on it. Most people think it's it's a short basically. The worst part you want, in my opinion, if you're long or if you're holding spot, is that if you see the OI is going flat, falling while the price is dropping. If that meaning is people are done with it and they don't care, plus they don't want to they're done with it. Like basically they jitter and then no one is even trying to trade a rebound. That's the worst case scenario, in my opinion, if you're holding spot. There are a lot more weird things that I was gonna try to get into, but I guess Simon doesn't really want to talk about it. I was going to talk about like those price manipulation strategies for coins like River, etc. But maybe I can try to get him come on as an end on next time.
Well, what's your opinion on that? Though? Go on. There's
on what?
Price manipulation.
On these weird. I mean, I think it's good and bad at the same time. Good because right now there's nothing tradable in crypto. Bad as in like if you don't know what you're doing, you get hurt. But I think whoever is scared of hurting are done already in crypto right now. So it creates a heavy speculation, right? Like it's like taking PvP into a project versus trader and uninformed trader point of view. So like here I'm just using a random case study, okay? There's a coin, it has a great supply control, but because of high FDV low flow token, everyone is short their vesting in 3 months, so everyone is shorting it, making the funding rate heavily negative or slightly negative. But because people realize that, because I have the supply control for the next 3 months, knowing that, and everyone is trying to short me because people talk about like VC coin meme kind of thing, and my treasury, let's say I have like 30 or 50 mil, what I'm going to do is like, okay, no one wants to long me, I'm just going to try to liquidate all these shorts by buying the spot price up because I have the cash and I have the supply control. And then I'm gonna my buy pressure. It's gonna be ending up liquidating all these people that are hedging the position, and that's my strategy. And as long as the math works out for you, good for you, right? And then for me, there's quite a few cases like that past few months, and then that's the game, right? Like for me, it's like identifying teams that has the capital to do this, has the ability to do this, and if they were to do it, they don't just do one candle; they have to do two candles, like in over like a week or so, and then you just try to catch that, right? And it's a little bit like guessing what they're gonna do and trying to see how much risk you want to take, right? Do you want to do you wait for confirmation, knowing the fact that if they only pull the price one up and the funding rate is too heavily negative, are you betting on them gonna do another liquidation? Do they have the cash? Are they scared? Do they have some sort of like bullshit narrative that might actually attract some organic flow? I mean, Story is a perfect example of it, right? Like there's nothing on there. There's no fundamentals, but they know they're gonna get so much exposure from the Korean TV users, etc. Right? So they just climb a little bit and then get on it to get actual organic buys, creating a flow, right? Like don't look at fundamentals. That is just a token strategy. And like as a guy that likes to trade these kind of things, I was just hoping that I can ask you for some metrics to get more confirmation in different stages, basically.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between. So there's a difference between price manipulation, which is just fundamentally a like bad thing, and there's a reason why it's illegal. Like frankly, everywhere, right? It's because it's just a rug in a more sophisticated format, right? Like
it's all hypothetical, okay? I can't go to jail. Sorry, I'm too pretty for that.
But like a team with the treasury executing buybacks in a strategic way, like for me they're two very different things. So there's but yeah, like probably not best place to talk about it.
But how can I? What are there any metrics that you can see? But like, oh man, they're probably doing something weird.
You mean if someone's doing like literally price manipulation?
Yeah, so I don't want to do any price manipulation, but I'm trying to profit from it. Like if I know Story is gonna crime it like 5 candle over a month, where can I find confirmation? Where can I be like, oh, okay, maybe they're chilling. Like maybe the open interest is lowering. Oh, they're unwinding their shorts. That's why like the ticket flow is like is there like some sort of like metrics that I can use to?
I mean, there's so much data on that type of stuff, but again, I'm not the guy. Like if you want to talk about that, you need on like one of the.
You need to talk to my Chinese quant.
Yeah. Just from a builder's perspective, you have either embedded into the product design the buyback mechanism, or you have some sort of buyback mechanism which is planned, right? Or you have a token strategy for how it's going to be launched and how it's going to be listed on different venues, that type of thing. But in my opinion, we would never in a million years try and manipulate the price. That's just fundamentally a legal thing. But it's very different to having a buyback plan, right? I think those two things are different.
Okay, so what's your strategy on listing tokens on your perp?
On Reya? Yes, the big thing that's different, of course, is that Reya is perp and spot. So we got very good at launching new perp markets, and it's a race. Like it's a race for obvious reasons because people just want to trade like the latest thing. It doesn't necessarily drive the majority of volume, and I think it's kind of obvious if you go look at the data. Like all the volume still exists on the majors, but when you launch these new markets, you get in a lot of new users. So it's a very useful like acquisition hook for new users coming into the venue. But what we can do, which other teams can't, or not every team can do, is spot as well. And like we did ETH last week, we're about to do BTC. There's going to be a few other like major assets being launched as spot assets. But then what you'll start to see is actually the launch of effectively kind of TGEs, day one listings of these tokens on Reya. And at that point, you start competing with so the C5 venues on that dimension as well, which is going to be fun.
Interesting. I'm actually a big fan of Bybit. Sorry?
Yeah. Well,
I'm a big fan of Bybit now.
Exactly. So next time, instead of doing Bybit, you do it on Reya. Like this is what's coming up.
Yeah, like for the listeners, like the best thing is if you can do a yield bearing asset as collateral as well, right? Because that means like it earns me yield while I can short some shit tokens in a very low leverage, or I can basically that. But yeah, okay, you guys just did an ICO, right? I think.
Yeah, we did ICO in December.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
oversubscribed. How much did you guys raise? What was that always going to be for?
Yeah, it's oversubscribed. I mean, so we've raised what 16 million at this point. So we
16.
1.6. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So we weren't optimizing for like cash in the door. Like we're optimizing for just distribution and like giving our users more than anything exposure to potential upside, right? And it ended up oversubscribed by like quite a lot. I'm trying to remember the exact number, but what we did do is we went out to raise three, and instead of doing three, we took four, right? Like rather than taking like all of the oversubscription just because we weren't optimizing for cash. And yeah, it's kind of fun because we get people that have there's two types of people. There's either people that are using the product and just wanted to like increase their exposure, or there's people who hadn't heard about Reya before and then kind of bought Reya and are now coming in and using the product. There's a third type of person who doesn't use the product at all and just bought the token. But like obviously, just getting that distribution, it was something that we were trying to optimize for.
What were the terms, by the way?
Yeah, so is it 150 million FDV, which is it, you pulling a face because it's good or bad?
It's
Like,
good. You should have DM'd
Yeah.
me. I thought we chatted back then. Ah, I guess we're not
Well,
friends. Shit.
yeah, I mean, this is the idea. Like, we're trying to look. We're not allowed to talk about price. Let's see what happens when the token goes live. But if you look at where everything else is trading, it wasn't meant to be like extraction. It was meant to be like, hey guys, come, like participate in the product.
Nice. Were there? Oh, nice. I'm not as locked in now. There's too many things going on, and then like I think Twitter algo really fucked everyone up.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't see random things anymore. I only see things that I've liked before. I like
yeah.
purposely like stuff that I don't like, but I just want to see it.
But I just see perp DEXs. I don't know why. That's all I see. Like, this is all I get in my little bubble.
Okay. Let's dive into the merger. So, what are the next key timelines? What's next?
For Reya, yeah, I mean, look, so we've launched Spot. So if we rewind massively, there's the product today, and then there's this huge infrastructure upgrade that's coming, and the opportunity that unlocks, like we've talked about, it's going to create an experience that's just demonstrably better than anything else that's out there at the moment. And there's a deliberate transition to that. So Spot was the first stepping stone because the Spot product actually goes through the low latency order book. Right, the next stepping stone is to move perp markets across from the MM to the order book, which is going to happen later this quarter, early Q2. And then from that point, there's a very aggressive rollout of markets. So in particular, like more RWA perps, which people are going to, we already have gold and it's like the third most traded asset at the moment, which is not surprising. But you're going to start seeing a rollout of more RWA perps. But then also, once we've finished migrating everything to the perp order book, you're going to see the rollout of tokenized stocks as margin. And that for me is going to be the point where people will look at Reya and go, like, holy fuck, I can hold all of these different, I can actually have a basket of like exposure to spot assets, and then I can trade all these perps on the other side as well without having to swap things into USDC, which is going to be quite cool.
Nice. It's funny. I'm on your perk right now. Everything is red other than gold. Fuck me.
Yeah, I know.
That's really fun. Oh, sorry. Did you say you were gonna have like spot tokenized stocks as well?
Yeah, so there's one thing that we're wanting to roll out. We're just kind of finishing choosing it. We personally are not going to tokenize stocks. Like, so we're going to work with a partner, and we're just in the middle of finishing that agreement before then announcing it and rolling it out.
I actually haven't looked.
It will realistically come in like Q2, just being realistic, but it's going to come pretty soon.
I actually haven't. Do you think there's ever going to be a tokenized stock blow up sometime?
In what sense?
I don't know, like DPEG, some guy run away, FTX style, or some shit like that.
The thing is, like, the people who are actually able to tokenize this stuff, like the value that they are providing is they're sort of the bridge between custody of the assets in TradFi and tokenization of the assets on chain. And if you look at Securitize as an example, like there's a regulated business. They work out of the BlackRock office, like in New York. They're I don't see that blowing up. Yeah, I don't. I think the bigger risk of the blow up is all of the stuff we saw with these like yield bearing stable coins, which
but don't worry, the TVA is very low. Like no one trusts them. Like I treat them like shit coins. Like I won't put big size in it. I just drop a little bit and hope for airdrop.
Yeah, I think Athena, so we're partnering with Athena on some stuff. Like I genuinely think that they're a very good team, and I trust them to like execute very well. But outside of that, yeah, you've got to question like what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. It's wild. It's still a wild west. I think that people are starting to forget all the pain that have caused in 2022. But sure.
I think something like is funny because when speaking to investors, I was kind of in the office the other day, and we talk about like what's going to happen in 2026. It's like, yeah, there's going to be a blow up of something, but we just don't know what it is, right? So I think that is going to happen. Like we just don't know what it is.
I really want to know as well. I've been looking at what could blow up, like Athena. Like I don't think it will, but it's too centralized. It's not going to be them unless they fuck up with the whole algo. But like,
yeah, I actually really like them as a team, so I'm only ever going to say positive things about them.
Me too.
But like, there's going to be something that goes wrong, and you kind of don't know what it is. It could be another 10/10 like scam wig like across every venue, or like it. Hopefully, it's not that because that wiped out so much like capital, right? You think about the amount of liquidation that happened then. I don't think people fully understand how much it hurt the space. So I don't think it's going to be that because it's already happened. It'd be just something that you don't expect, but I can guarantee that there'll be like one thing in 2026 that you're not expecting that will go wrong, right? Like, and we deal with it every time, so I'm sure we'll be fine.
I've been waiting for that for a long time. I've been sitting on cash for a long time, and then I'm slowly like trading a little bit of perks and losing here and there. It's fucking annoying as shit. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty bullish on like I think what's going to happen through 2026 is going to look like 2025. You're going to have like periods where everyone's like, oh my God, it's so over. And then everything will come back and be like hot again. And then the same thing will happen. I don't think we're going to head into a prolonged bear market.
I agree. I'd rather we have a very extreme event. Like I'm used to that now. I'm like, all right, come on, give me another FTX, and then I'll chill for a year. Then I'll be fully back again. Like I'm waiting for that event. Like I'm not happy with 10/10. You know, like I'm like, just like
what's going on? Yeah,
like it doesn't really matter.
I mean, FTX is obviously like the kind of like the starting point was
the
Terra
kicking
Luna.
balls.
Yeah, Terra Luna was like, you wipe out 20-40 billion of value, and then next up FTX plays up. It's like, okay, fine.
But I don't think 10/10 is that bad, right? I know a few guys blew up, but like they're not that big, right? It's always the degen algo like ARP guys and stuff like that only.
Yeah, it was impactful, but it wasn't anywhere near on the same scale. And that's why I don't think we're going to have these huge events that cause prolonged bear market. Like I think we will have some big issues, but I think the space generally is able to better deal with it.
And the thing is, there's no main character this year as well. If you think about it, right? Like who the fuck is the main character of CTO or crypto? I want that. Like I like volatility, bro. Like that's why gold is doing better than us. We need some dickheads to come like do something. I mean, Tom Lee's the main character, I guess. Like he's the biggest meme.
We've got the main character in TradFi there at the moment, right? Like that's the challenge.
Okay lah. All right. Any special alpha you can leak in this stream?
Look, we've done an ICO. We're busy. You come into the Discord, see what the community's suggesting is going to happen. You can kind of work out what's next. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Okay lah. But yeah, like next time, you should have pinged me. Yeah, I wanted more than that. Obviously, I'm a taker, bro.
Yeah.
I'm an extractor. No, but like, bro, next time I just saw, right, your ICO detail. You should have DM me. What the fuck? Like, it's 150 mil FDV, 50% unlock at TG, 50% linear money monthly vest. Like, that's a very good term, actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a very good term. But just to let you know, I might sound like a max extractor, but I held my lighter airdrop till now. I didn't even touch it. Same
Yeah,
with
and
like a lot of my airdrops and stuff like that. Just to let you know, I'm not that toxic, okay? But like if
yeah,
I
yeah.
trade it, I am very cold blooded. But if I
There you go.
earn
You
it
need
in
to
a
come.
different way, I won't.
You need to come get some rare points.
Yeah. The thing
That's
is,
the
like,
next.
there's too many perks. Like, I don't have enough capital to trade it that many places. Like, I already have 3 screens. I can't have more screens to trade more headsets.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the hard part about like being a perk dex and being a perk dex real users in crypto right now. Because like all these farmers are just like I don't like there's like there's like what 4 or 5 pre-token good perk decks, right? I'm already crazy to trade in centralized and 2 perk dexes, I think. And then like
Yeah, there's a lot of farming, right? Like you got to, and as a builder, you got to see through that, and you got to make sure that, like, it's one thing. Just you might not like hearing this, but we spend a lot of time on the point system. We change the point system every single week just to try and make sure that it's not gameable and rewarding people who are doing real trading. You know, just all those types of things, because you don't want to just end up in a situation where you accidentally reward people who like are just going to sell the token and move on to the next thing. Right, you might not want to hear that, but like that from the builder's perspective, you want to try and incentivize like real trading activity.
oh I agree, like it's always like that, right? Like if you're a farmer, you want to hear that. If you are a long-term believer of a token, you want to hear that. Like hearing you say that, I'll be like, all right, I probably wouldn't mind buying the token, but
Yeah.
because right now it's easier than to trade there, right? But yeah, okay. Let's move on to the last question. What do you think is required to make it in crypto?
Um, just like perseverance and consistency, right? Like, just you're gonna get. I mean, think about how much shit we have to deal with, like just and you got to be able to survive all of that, and keep going. And I think that's essentially like, and if you can do that, that in itself is a skill, because so many people just get wiped out on like, you know, one big major event or one stupid coin or something. So it's just about persistency and
Survive.
consistency. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
100%. All right. Thank you for your time today.
What do you think is required? Come on, before we finish.
I think surviving it's important. Knowing you always have to know what are you looking for. I think in crypto there's a lot of people that pretending they're pretending they're not looking for a moonshot, but they are actually looking for moonshot. And so when this fake opportunity comes, they just go all in without reason. Like I think knowing yourself is very important. Like for me, I like risky stuff. So I allocate my money in non-risky stuff and I carve out a part for me to do extremely risky stuff because
Yeah,
like that's just my style. But there's a lot of people that claim to be very safe, and then suddenly there's a opportunity window. They will full port it, thinking that they're safe, but like end up fucking up. Like I think like knowing yourself and surviving and drop biases is
yeah,
the key part. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah. There
realize I
you go.
said a lot of things.
You're better, you're better at it than I am, but yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
It's hard, bro. Like I've been zeroed like twice. Like it's pretty fucked up, man.
Yeah, I got wiped out shorting Fartcoin. That was I was like, this. Sorry, it's like this is never sustaining this value, and then it just kept going up, and I was like, oh fuck. Like,
Like bro, like a little bit background, right? So I did a lot of DeFi stuff. I was good. I was all right, and then I started doing something called Axie Infinity. I don't know, are you
yeah,
around back
yeah.
then?
I know.
I end up having like 300 scholars playing the game for me because I used to run some factories in Philippines. Then I was like, oh, I can pay them more if they play the game for me. And then like, so that's how I got 300 scholars. And then I started shorting AXX. So I bought AXS at 0.3 and I started shorting it at around like $100. And I got fucking liquidated at $140 ish right before the whole thing popped. But yeah, like fucking hell, man. Short is just such a bitch move. Like from like I don't short more than my margin by like 20 to 30% nowadays. Like
Yeah,
at proper size. Like it's just fucking crazy, man.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
just easy. I mean, like, it's got infinite up. It's got infinite movement that could theoretically take place, right? Like, so it's a risk. But
If you
yeah,
didn't
I'm
size your
gonna try.
fart, you probably made a lot of money. If you
Yeah, but
size it less and held it through. Yeah.
exactly. That's the thing. There's actually, like, if you look at where I got liquidated, it was like just near the top, and then it kind of like it obviously came down. But look, I'm focused on. I kind of like mess around every now and then, just as a bit of fun. But like, I don't. If I was trying to be a trader, I'd be a trader. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to build the exchange to let everyone else like make money and short Fartcoin.
All right. I really enjoyed the chat. Let's link up again when you have a new update.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good to do it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
See you, man.